Hello, everybody. Welcome to this month's, I always say this month, but we do it twice a month, Telescope Talk Hangout. My name is Tony Darnell. I'm from Deep Astronomy Space, and today we are going to be talking about gifts. It's coming up on Christmas time. We're thinking about what we're going to buy all our loved ones, friends, neighbors, kids, whatever. And today we know that because you watch Deep Astronomy, you love astronomy, and we want to help you. We've sort of gathered up some of the things that we like and some gift ideas that we think are really good, so we're going to talk with you about those today. If you want to follow along, there is a link in the description box to the Deep Astronomy Space webpage, where I've put most of the links we're going to discuss, and we're not going to get to all of them, but you know, all of the really cool ideas that we have are on that webpage. And there's also other links in the description box below, because this is sort of a team effort. Let me pull up my team. Here we go. Almost everybody over there is from over there, the other side of the pond. Hi, guys. My usual suspects: John Suffill in the upper left, Adam Synergy in the upper right, and Alexander Reinders in the lower panel there. And so welcome, guys. It's good to see you here. I hope you're having a good evening on your side of the world. Hello?
Oh, yeah. Good.
Yes. John Newman, good. I think it would be best to say welcome to this fortnight's Telescope Talk. That's what I should be saying, not this month or this week. This fortnight's. And for you Americans, that means every 2 weeks. Okay, that's what a fortnight is. Okay, guys, so you guys have done a really great job of coming up with some links and some ideas for what people can do for Halloween, for Christmas this year. And last Hangout, we gave you our recommendations for some telescopes that we thought were really good for under $500. So we're not going to focus so much on telescopes and accessories this time, although we do have a couple in our gift list. Mostly we're just going to be talking about some cool gift ideas for astronomy that you may be wanting to do. And I want to give a special shout out to Galaxia, who is a longtime friend of Deep Astronomy and a big supporter of not only what we're doing here, but also in the Hangouts. She's a real active member on the Hangouts. I don't see her. Oh, there she is. Hi, Galaxia. And she has given me, and I've put this in the web page as well, the links that Galaxia had kindly put together. She's put together some cool stuff, so I would invite you to check them out. But she sent so many that I didn't get a chance to put all of them in the web page. So what I didn't put in the web page, the deepastronomy.space web page that you see in the link, I put in the description box of this video. So if you just look there, you'll see all of the links that I didn't get a chance to post. She posted some cool stuff, so thank you, Galaxia. She also wanted me to put out there that she's putting together a website. I think it's mostly a news website, right, Galaxia? And for astronomy and things like that. But she's having some difficulty. So if anybody out there has some web experience, then get in touch with me and say that you'd be willing to help Galaxia, or you can just tell her in the chat yourself, or if you happen to know her on other social media platforms. But if you don't, you can ask me, let me know that you're willing, and then I can forward your thing on to her. And maybe you guys can connect or whatever. I will offer, though, Galaxia, that I have some expertise. And so as the holidays approach, if you want to get together, I can take a look at what your website is, and I'll be happy to try and help out a little bit myself. So with that having been said, I want to thank you very much, Galaxia, for all the work you put into this. A lot of cool stuff, and I'll be happy to help you out with your website. But if anybody else out there can maybe help her out, please let me know, and I'll get you in touch with her. Okay, guys, so I don't know how things work on your end of the world. I kind of do, because I lived there for a year. But for us here in the United States, people have been thinking about Christmas for about 2 weeks now. And tomorrow and the next day, it gets a little bit crazy around here. We have this stupid thing called Black Friday, which people go nuts over and try to consume as much as they can in a short period of time. Do you guys have anything like that over there?
Yeah, we get Black Friday as well now.
You get Black Friday now too in England? Yeah. What about Germany? What do Germans do, Alexander?
They shop it on Amazon.
They go on Amazon. Do you have a Black Friday equivalent? Do you guys go? I mean, you don't have Thanksgiving, so it doesn't make sense to have a day after Thanksgiving sale. But Anyway, okay. So, but when do you guys start thinking about Christmas? Have you already started, or you wait till like 2 weeks from now, or when do you guys start thinking about it?
I started the January sales.
Oh, I'll bet you're popular with your family. Hey, Dad, what's for Christmas? Oh, you have to wait till January. No, but that is a lot of people actually do that. Some do anyway. They wait and get their deals after the fact.
I'm talking about for the following Christmas.
Oh, very good.
So I'm
wow,
buying
you really think ahead. So you're way better than most.
Yeah, I'm buying throughout the year.
Yeah, my wife came home today and said, "I finished. I've got everybody's Christmas presents." And then she looked at me and I said, "Yeah, I do too." I'm terrible. I need to get going on it. But anyway, so this is we hope you guys will enjoy this hangout. Please give us some questions and comments if you have any particular things you want to know about. Please let us know throughout the hangout. I'm looking at the live chat. It's going really well. I'm also on deepastronomy.space/live, and we're on Discord. So if you want to communicate with us on that, please do, because this is something I'm really proud of that we're setting up, and I think in 2018 I'm going to really start pushing this method of interaction because I like it a lot. And Jake Cleveland, my web designer, tech guy, put a lot of work into this, so I really want to start using it more over the course of the next few months. I'm also on Twitch, where I have a couple people looking but not saying anything, but I am here, guys, so if you want to say something on Twitch, please do. I'm also on Facebook, and there are a couple of people watching on Facebook, so you leave comments there. And finally, if you want to leave a tweet on Twitter using the Teletalk hashtag, and I will be there, and I will, if it's on my little feed thingy here, I will put it up so that other people can see it. So those are all the different ways. So if you're on Periscope, that's a really good way of interacting with us too. So that's going on. Okay, where should we start? You guys have any ideas? You guys want to start, or do you want me to?
Start at the top of the list, Tony.
Start at the top of the list. Okay, well, here is my list. Where is... There we go. All right, so here is the top of the... So where I am at is the deepastronomy.space/cool astronomy gifts for Christmas 2017 article. And we've put... You can also watch the hangout here as well if you want to follow along. I guess a couple of things that I put up that I thought was really cool, especially from Galaxia. She put up some really neat things, but one of the things that really caught my eye was this this scarf here. It's only like 9. Now I'm not going to be like the shopping channel for astronomy, but you know, this I'm just going to point out some cool things. The links are in the description box, but this was really cool. This lights up, and I think this will be a really cool gift. In fact, I'm considering it. Yes, I am. I don't want to talk too much about it in case my wife's listening, but I really liked this. I thought this was really cool. Another really thing that both Alexander and Galaxia came up with was this cardboard cutouts, kind of for you can have telescopes and all kinds of other scientific instruments that you can make. What I didn't get a chance to do, though, folks, was see if a lot of the links that Alexander and these guys sent me had a U.S. counterpart. So I don't know for sure. But remember, this is mostly meant to be an ideas hangout. You know, give you ideas. So almost everything here, I'm sure, can be purchased from the U.S. except for maybe a couple of things. This might be one of them, because this Astromedia is a German company, and I'm not sure that they will ship to the U.S., but it's worth trying. But a lot of this stuff, like over here, Alexander sent one of these puzzles. This I'm sure you can get in the U.S. Do you think, Alexander, or do you know?
I think so, yes.
All right, you want to talk a little bit about this?
Well, it's, I think, for some cloudy nights with some tea, maybe your relatives, and you can puzzle something. You can learn something about constellations.
And and so it's a spherical puzzle, right?
It's a sphere, and I think it's held by magnetic installations there, so you can, roll it or rotate it as you want.
Man, that looks really cool. It's expensive though. Look at that.
And it's glowing in the night.
Oh, it glows in the dark too?
Yeah.
Wow. So yeah, that is amazing, but it's pretty pricey. But that looks really cool though. And there's also a 2D version of it as well if you follow the links along. So that would be pretty cool too. You know, I have to say, you know, as I was looking at these, as I was looking at a lot of these gifts and stuff, it occurred to me, you know, we say all the time on Deep Astronomy that we live in a golden age of astronomy, right? We're at a time in our history where we've looked further back in the universe than we've ever looked before. We're seeing things we've never seen before. We're building instruments that were never before possible to build because of technology. And you know, for example, infrared detectors would not have been possible 20 years ago because there was no real good way to detect infrared energy in a high-resolution way using CCD cameras, but now the technology using things like mercury, cadmium, and telluride detectors help us image in the near-infrared. So discoveries are being made, theories are being put to the test like never before. But that's also true with amateur astronomy. We live in a golden age of amateur astronomy. At no point in our history have we been able to look further back than we do now in time. We can see things easier. People without much experience at an eyepiece can look and see things that were really hard to see back in my day. When I had my little 6-inch Criterion and I'm hunting around through the eyepiece trying to find M57, it took a while. Now it's computer M57, enter go to, and bzzz, off it goes, and there's M57 sitting in your eyepiece. So we live in a good time for amateur astronomers as well. But not only that, you can contribute now to science in ways amateurs never could before because of the technology that's more affordable. Now, Alexander's a good example. Alexander and John, you guys have more equipment than I think I ever owned, but you're able to participate, if you were so inclined, in a lot of citizen science initiatives and help astronomers with their work. Back in my day, all there really was the American Association for Variable Star Observers, which was AVSO. And what you did was you went out every night that you could and you would look at various variable stars and you would estimate with your eye how bright you thought it was, whether it was magnitude 8 or 10 or whatever it was, and then you would write it down and you would send it in. And then what they would do is they would take all of these written observations and they would throw out the outliers because there would be some people who just were wrong, and then they'll take most of that and they'll make it into an aggregate observation for that date and time. And that was how I could participate. But things have changed. Things have gotten a lot better now with things like Galaxy Zoo, which is another great thing you can do as a family together, is get in front of a website and do some of these activities together, like cataloging galaxies, finding craters on the moon. There are so many things now with the Galaxy Zoo. Well, they call it Galaxy Zoo, but now I think it's Zooniverse that you can get involved in and do. So that's another great thing about the times we live in. So with all of this going on, you know, I think interest in science and in particular astronomy has really exploded over the past decade or so. So some of the things that we're showing you are gifts that are just from people who really maybe just think science is cool, right? They make art, or they'll make a wall print or something like that and put it up, and they'll take some NASA images and do some really cool things with it as well. So lots of great stuff that's out there now. So it's kind of the golden age of that as well. Astronomy has never been in a better spot. And I don't know, I just felt like I needed to say that. I feel better. You guys want to add anything to any of that?
I don't think we can.
Oh, okay. Galaxia is commenting, Ravensburg is Alexander's hometown in the very south of Germany. The city is known for the board games they make that also bear the name Ravensburg. Is that right, Alexander?
Exactly.
You guys are known
exactly right, yeah.
You guys are known for board games. What else do you make?
Oh,
what other kind of board games?
well, we did make the cars, or the part for cars. But it's a long time ago. I think
I
it's
meant
20 years
what
ago.
other board games do you guys make besides one we just showed?
Board games.
Yeah.
What is it called? Mensch, ärgere dich nicht. Let me look it up.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I didn't mean to put you on the spot there. I thought you might know off the top of your head. All right. So let's see. We want a telescope for the house that can image exoplanets. Lol. Yeah, get yourself one, Joe Schmo. Actually, okay, I'm going to tell you this. The first exoplanets that I knew about, the first exoplanet observations I knew about, were made with a Meade LX16. It was a 16-inch Meade Schmidt-Cassegrain telescope sitting in the parking lot of the High Altitude Observatory in Boulder, Colorado, where they had something called STARE, S-T-A-R-E. And I forget what the acronym now because it was so long. But they were one of the first people. They didn't do the first, but they were one of the first people to image the light curve, a transit curve of an exoplanet. And that was done with amateur equipment in the backyard. So that was it. So I think that it's possible. You can do it now. I think some of these variable stars or some of these exoplanets, I don't know. I don't know about. You might be. I think Alpha Centauri might be doable, but maybe you get Proxima B. I'm not sure. But the dip is really tiny for that. So that's part of the problem. Is you want to be able to be probably a hot Jupiter, something that passes in front of its star a lot and is big, and you can probably get some pretty decent measurements with a hot Jupiter. But you can do it with exoplanets. But look, 16-inch telescope was what they used, and that was like a $10,000 telescope. So if you got that kind of money, go right ahead and image some exoplanets. All right. So any other comments, guys? Any other points you want to make? You were talking earlier, Andrew, about I'm sorry, Adam, about the ESO and the ESO calendar. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, there are a lot of astronomical calendars out there. I had a quick look on the internet earlier, and there are quite a few. My favorite is the European Southern Observatory calendar that I get every year. Here it is.
Okay. Hang on. Yep.
It's pictures taken by the telescopes at the European Southern Observatory in Chile.
Okay.
And they're stunning. They really are beautiful. So I've got no hesitation in recommending their calendar.
Yeah, so here's their webpage. They do send them out each year to some certain people. I used to get them when I was at the Institute, but I haven't gotten one since. I think they don't know where I'm at. But these are how do you get one? Do you just so I have the webpage up here.
I'm lucky enough to get one for free as well. Their outreach people send me one, but you can buy them from the ESO.
Oh, here we go. It goes go to the ESO shop catalog.
Yeah.
And looks like it's taking me to a PDF. Oh, it's taking me to a PDF page. So you can order them. You can order them from that's 103 pages. So I'm not going to go through that. But yeah, so you can definitely get them from ESO, but I'm not quite sure how you get them.
I think their shop is based in Germany.
Oh, great. It just hogged up my browser. And now it's not letting me go anywhere.
Yeah, I've got one of these calendars every year for the past few years. They're too beautiful to write on. 10
is less than average. Yes, that's true. That's the thing about this stuff, this hobby, folks, is that once you get started, you end up going kind of crazy with getting more. I was like that. I never had 10 though. I only had I think I had 4. I had
astronomy is a really cheap hobby until you get into it.
Yeah, really, because it doesn't cost anything to just look up and things like that. So, yep, it's pretty cheap hobby. Okay, anybody else? So I'm looking through I want to try and hopefully have some of you guys ask them some questions. Is the stream lagging? I don't think so. My internet looks good right now. Is internet? It might be that YouTube is screwing up again, and you might need to go over to Twitch. I don't know. Or Facebook. Facebook is looking good too. So, all right. And nobody's there. Okay. So, all right. Well, John, you had a couple of really good suggestions for people who've already got some equipment. Let me put those up. What I liked about these was, get rid of that. Put that up. Get rid of that. What I liked about these was I've used these a lot myself. Now, if you've got telescopes already, and if you you're one of those people that, by necessity, you generally have to go out in the middle of nowhere to get a decent view of the night sky where there's not much electricity, getting one of these is really a big help. Now, what I like about these is that nowadays they also have chargers for USB units, and so your things like your not only camera but your cell phone and stuff like that you can use for recharging as well. But these are basically DC battery packs that you charge before you leave, and they usually have a flashlight. One of them is red in this case, and they will power your telescope. Now, these newer telescopes, especially the smaller ones that have DC inputs, generally can run for quite a long time on a battery charge. In the old days, they used to come with an AC clock drive motor, which took quite a bit of current. But this will last you, something like this would last you a whole night. For a telescope, I don't know, guys, what do you think? What telescope would this drive for a halfway decent amount of time? About an 8-inch?
Well, this will drive my 8-inch on EQ5 Go 2 for safely for about 4.25 hours. It says 17 amp hours, but the battery pack does not like to be discharged to less than half its capacity. And the EQ5 Go 2 uses 2 amps to power it. So it says 17 amp hours. You're looking at 4.25.
Yeah. So, and that's and do you know what kind of battery this has on it?
Is it lithium ion or something or other?
It says it says sealed lead acid, so it's got a lead acid battery on it. Yeah. The lithium ions are nice, but they're gonna add some cost to it. But if you've got the money, then yeah, you want to get the lithium ion version. But
if you drive one of these and you do run the battery down and it dies and it's useless, don't throw it away. You can go onto Amazon and buy a replacement battery that has 22 amp hours. It costs about £50 and easy to fit. Just make sure you get the terminals in the right order. Otherwise, it's not going to be very friendly to you.
That's right. Okay. Let's see. And also, you had recommended one of these. Now, anybody who's ever spent any time out under the dark skies will need one of these because it takes your eyes roughly a half an hour, usually an hour, closer to an hour, to become fully dark adapted. But it only takes less than a second to ruin that. Your iris of your eye will snap shut in the face of a bright light, but it very, very slowly opens to allow more light in. So to become fully dark adapted, and it's something you really need to, obviously you need to do that if you're in the middle of the dark looking through a telescope, you want your eyes to be at their best, then you need to have your night vision kept intact. But you also don't want to be stuck fumbling around in the dark trying to find stuff. Well, red light is at a wavelength that lets you see at night without destroying your night vision. And so these are huge. These are critical if you want to maintain your night vision. Now, there's a ton of them, and here's 4 of them listed here. But you can also just take your ordinary torch or flashlight and cut a red gel filter on it and and any flashlight would work, and that's just a couple dollars. You can get those from most photography stores or anybody who's, maybe if you have a local telescope store, they'll have them too. So this is definitely worth it. Definitely want to get one of these if you don't have one. I live in the country and I don't do a lot of observing with telescopes anymore, but I do like to just go out and enjoy the stars. And when I'm out walking my dog, I bring the red flashlight with me just to make sure I don't bump into anything and I don't step on any raccoons or anything while I'm out there. But so they're very handy, very helpful for keeping your eyes dark adapted, which you definitely want to do.
How much are they, Tony?
Well, these are anywhere from, according to this is from 12 to 20 pounds. So these are pretty reasonable, a little bit pricey, but still pretty good. I mean, some of them have different wavelengths. This one goes from red to white, so you can get different colors in between. This goes back and forth. It's dual color, so it goes just red or just white. But don't hit that white one by accident. You want to make an amateur astronomer mad. Come at him while he's observing with a white flashlight. And
I've done many times.
So yeah, if you want to go out and ask your husband or wife if they'd like a cup of tea while they're out observing, and you want to go out and see where they are, use a red flashlight. Don't go out there with a white one and just make them mad. I used to go to star parties, and people who had never been to one before would show up in their cars after it's dark with their headlights on, everything's going, and it's like everybody's night vision got ruined. You can just hear the groans throughout the field. They're like, "Hey, turn off your lights!" So yeah, it's pretty important because everybody has to wait an hour, right, before they can get their stuff back, their night vision back. So anyway,
the one on the right hand side, the Celeste one?
Yeah.
On here, I'm pressing the wrong button.
Yeah.
Nice, fairly bright light. It also is a hand warmer. Make sure you put it in a bag. It does get very hot, and it also a charger.
Oh really? I didn't. Oh cool. So it's a hand warmer too.
Yeah. There's two settings on that. I just hope I don't switch that bit on.
Is that because the lithium-ion battery heats up as you use it? Yeah, I don't know if I want that kind of hand warmer, but yeah.
I don't really see it, but there's the outlet for the charger for a mobile phone or something like that.
You know what they did? They took the fact that lithium-ion batteries heat up when they're used, they made it into a feature. Hey, look, you got a great hand warmer. Same thing as your Galaxy Note phone will also do the same thing. So it'll warm you up nice and well.
So how long will it shine?
It goes for quite a while. I've never actually killed it off yet. Whenever it starts to get a bit discharged, I put it back onto charge again. So
yeah, so for 20 pounds, or what is that, about $25? That's not a bad price. It runs at a half an amp, according to this. So
I got mine from the local astronomy club. I think I paid $5 for it.
Another reason, folks, to go to your local astronomy club. So, yeah.
Join your astronomy club. You get lots of bargains.
All right. Well, that's cool, John. That's really nice. All right. What else we got? Let's see. You also have a binocular tripod adapter. Now, if you've already got a binocular and a pair of binoculars, and you're getting tired of holding them up, and who doesn't? This thing will connect to your binoculars and mount on something like a photograph tripod or something similar. So, yeah, these are real handy, and they're pretty inexpensive. Here you're looking at 27 pounds. That's about $30. So yeah, and they're Celestron. Whatever Celestron sells over there, they sell here too. So this is even though I'm showing you a website that John sent me, we can get these in the U.S. too. So. And there's also some nice binoculars here as well. These 15 by 70s look really nice. So pair of binoculars, if you got a little more. These are, wait a minute, these are real prices? Look at that, yeah. 99 pounds. That's not bad. That's about 125, $30.
They're these 75s. Sorry, the 15s by 70s. Yeah, I've got a pair of them. They're really good.
Wow, those look great. I wouldn't mind a pair of those. So the great thing about binoculars is not only can you use them at night, but you can also use them for obviously wildlife, just general stuff. So they're really good bang for your buck. And so yeah, that's another really good gift that you could get.
Don't forget though, anything over 10B50, you're going to need a tripod to hold them.
Yeah, yeah. And Michael Jobin's commenting on the chat. I like my 4.5-inch f5 4.5 Dobsonian with a 40mm Plössl as far as bang for the buck. What'd you pay for that, Michael? Because 4.5-inch Dob, that would be, well, you can probably get one of those for a few $100, maybe $200 or $300, right? That's pretty. Yeah, those are nice telescopes. Just Looking is asking, how do these differ from bicycle taillights? Well, they don't flash and give you a seizure, for one thing. That's one reason. So yeah, okay. They don't give you a seizure. My kids love the Sky Guide app. Yeah, those. Let's talk about apps for a minute. Apps are generally free, aren't they? Most of the amateur astronomy apps that you guys know about, do they cost money? The ones I've got don't. The Celestron one I hadn't paid anything for, and there's a couple of more. There used to be Google Sky. Google Sky is still out there, and that's also free. You can just hold up your cell phone to the sky, and it'll show you what it is you're looking at. So those are really, really handy. But I think they're all free, right?
Well, there's Stellarium for Android phones.
Is Stellarium on a phone now?
Oh, yes. It has been for a few years.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, you do have to pay, but it's not a lot of money. It's less than a fiver, less than £5.
So Stellarium is an open source planetarium program that if you don't have it, you need to get it. And what just happened to the... What happened?
Alex has started screen sharing.
Oh, okay. I don't see it, though, do you?
Nope.
It says we're
I just get the words. Alex has started screen sharing.
Yeah, okay. Well, hopefully as he's sorting that out. So Stellarium is a free open source software. There it is. Okay, but it's really... Oh, he looks like he's showing spectra.
Spectrums.
What are you doing, Alex?
Oh man, I tried to share, but I think my internet is very slow right now.
Okay.
That's the periodic table.
Yeah, I'm looking at some spectra here.
And the colors of it.
Yeah. So if you guys care about what the spectrum lines of, say, plutonium is, there it is down there at the bottom. Cobalt, nickel, copper. So aluminum's up here. Aluminium is up here. Silicon. Oh, interesting. Okay. This is your desktop, Alexander? You are a nerd, dude.
Yes.
You are a nerd.
Yeah, I am.
Holy cow.
Absolutely.
Oh, my God. That's awesome that you have that as your desktop. That is so great.
I can send it to you. So this is Stellarium.
Okay, Galaxia, I just want to comment real quick because I see the Etsy. I put a lot of Etsy links in the description. Is there any of them that you want to highlight to them? Because they should be there. If they're not, they're on the Deep Astronomy page. So I put all of the links you sent on one of those two places, Galaxia. I just wanted to say that. So yeah, Alexander, you want to talk about this?
Stellarium here. I think it's a quite good program. And yeah,
I use it every.
Here.
This is what I use every week to make the Your Sky Tonight program. It's free, and it is. You won't find a better way of learning the night sky and what's up than this. That's why I use it for those videos. Another good free program is Worldwide Telescope, but that's fancier, and it uses data sets from astronomers, including Hubble and ESO and lots of other data sets. That's also free, and that's made by Microsoft, but you've got to have a Windows computer to run it. So yeah, I forgot where I was going with that Stellarium. Oh, that's because you were telling me there was an app. So now, if you've got a phone, which I do, I'm going to have to get the Stellarium app. I did not know that was in there. Have you used it, John? Have you guys used it?
I used to, yeah.
Yeah?
But now I've got a tablet, so a Windows tablet, so I just got it across onto there from the computer.
What about you, Alex? Do you use the one from...
Well, I use Sky Safari, but I like Stellarium.
Sky Safari. Did that cost money?
Yeah, I think it's
It costs, yeah, about $15.
$15, but you recommend it. What do you like about it?
I liked, you can search for deep sky objects, for example, and for dark nebulas. If you want to image them, you can see where you got to look for it with your scope. That's very detailed data in it.
So you type in, what you like about it is that when you're getting ready to image a deep sky object, you type in something, and then it shows you on your phone. What does it show you on your phone?
Yeah. It shows the areas where, for example, dark nebulas are. You know, if you're watching the Milky Way, for example, and sometimes the Milky Way, the stars, between the stars and us, there are some dark clouds that are quite interesting, and with the long exposures, you can image them.
Okay.
And this data you can see from.
But how do you?
Sky
Is there an
Safari.
easy way for you to go from your app to your telescope? Does it control it for you? How does it help you find things through your telescope?
Just a position at the sky. I don't control it with my apps.
Okay, good. So you just use it as an area as a reference point for where to go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Let's see. Okay. Well, let's see. What else do we got here? So there are one other thing I wanted to bring up with respect to. With respect to accessories, and I'm not going to go into too many of them, but this one here is important for people who have a lot of moisture in their area. When I was living in Colorado, this wasn't such a big deal, but dew and having water forming on your optics is generally not a good thing. And so these are different, small, relatively inexpensive accessories you can get to get rid of dew on your telescope lenses or objectives and corrector plates and things like that. They basically, like this one here, straps around your telescope tube and provides just a small amount of heat to keep the moisture from condensing on there. And of course you can get real fancy with things like this. I don't know what a 4-channel, 4-port dew controller would do, but wow, that sounds like pretty much it would take care of it. So these are handy.
But you need power for it.
I'm sorry?
You need power for it, so don't forget the batteries.
Right, and that's where that power source thing we came in before. It's not going to last as long because these pull more current, but again, and these dew shields are pretty good. I used to have one of these. These basically just extend out of your telescope tube to prevent it from condensing directly on the corrector plates because it just sticks out a little more, and dew won't form directly on the corrector plate. So those are pretty handy too. And one other thing I wanted to mention was you can buy meteorites. These are awesome little gifts too. These are things people have collected. You've probably seen TV shows where people collect these things. And so, yeah, you can actually go and buy meteorites. Now, these are all from a company called First Light Optics, which is a UK company, but you can get these all here in the United States as well.
Yeah,
Jeff, sorry.
Just make sure you go to an accredited seller. Otherwise, it's also, if you use eBay or somewhere like that, it's also easy to start buying pebbles.
Just rocks people are claiming are meteorites, but aren't.
Yeah, do you know Jeff Notkin, Tony?
What?
Do you know Jeff Notkin, the meteorite man?
I've heard of him. Yes.
Yeah, he's based in Arizona, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good reputable source of meteorites on your side of the pond.
Is he selling them? Okay, what's the name again?
I don't know the name of his company, but if you Google Jeff Notkin, Notkin,
okay,
you'll find him.
Okay, yeah. So you can get these here, and John makes a good point. Don't just buy any old thing from any other, unless you're sure about the source. And these are cool. These are rocks that have been in space, and they've survived the burn up and are found all over the planet. And so they are quite amazing to have. Some of them are quite heavy. So,
yeah.
they're just the coolest thing you can get as far as having a piece of something that came from outer space. It's It's really cool. And you know what? This reminds me of something I want to bring up. I don't know if they still do this, but there used to be a service that would sell you a star. They would name a star after you. Sorry, I've got something in my throat. And they are not reputable. You are not getting an official. I mean, you can buy if you want a certificate that says this star is named after you, then fine. But that's all it is a piece of paper that says this star is named after you by the star naming company or whatever it is that does that.
Yeah,
they aren't real. They're not actually naming a star after you. And what's sad is I've heard of people like buying those in memory of someone who's died or someone whom they've lost, or they just want to commemorate their son's birthday or daughter's birthday, whatever it is. And they buy these thinking that they're real. And they're not. They never have been. They've been around for decades. And I don't want to say it's a scam, but they're very misleading in the way that they are promoting it. The only group in the world that can name something officially is the International Astronomical Union. They're the ones who not only name things, but they also decide what things are. They're the ones that demoted Pluto and made it a minor planet. So it's an international body of astronomers who have, and it's a convention that all astronomers around the world have agreed on, that they will have the authority to name stars, to name planets, meteors, or asteroids, I guess I should say. They also name comets. And so, and generally the way it works is the person who discovered it, like if it's a comet, they get the naming rights just because they discovered it, and the International Astronomical Union will, go with that, and will follow that convention unless there's a dispute or some other thing where somebody else claims to have discovered it first. So that's usually the way it works. If you've discovered something for the first time and it's been reported, you were the first one to report it. You may have seen it before somebody else, but if you didn't report it, who cares? But you were the first to report that you've discovered something, then you have first naming rights. And people choose all kinds. Sometimes people choose silly names. Sometimes people name it after their sons or daughters or whatever. And that's real. That actually is a real thing. But this naming, if you happen to see a star name service, and I don't recall the company's names that used to do it, then beware. You are giving them $15 or $20 or $25, whatever they're charging, for just a piece of paper. It doesn't really mean anything else. It might be a nice piece of paper, and maybe it's worth it to you to have that, but other than that, it's not real. I mentioned that because of what John said about the meteorites.
There are very few stars named after people. There's Barnard Star, Captain's Star, Halley's Star, or Voyagian Star, and they're all named after scientists usually that discovered them, and they're special in some way, unique.
Right, but even then, most of the stars are named after whatever instrument or catalog they were first listed in, like the Hipparchus catalog or the like HIP. Those numbers, that's that's a certain catalog number. Maybe they aren't necessarily discovered by anybody, but put in automatically as a catalog number, and but that ends up being their official name. And then there's different naming conventions. Although I don't think any star has been named after Hubble, but maybe it hasn't discovered any either, if you think about it. So most stars, you're right, are actually in a catalog. They've been detected automatically put through and just entered in as a number. So most stars are just that. The brighter ones, Vega, Arcturus, the ones that have been around for centuries, I don't know who named those, but those are mostly named after the Greek naming convention that we've adopted for the constellations. And I honestly don't know when that came along. That's a good point. Okay, so where are we on this? Let me just take a look through here. Galaxia is saying there's an Etsy link into the categories. On that page, choose fashion and fabric. Yeah, so let me go to some of these. So these are some of the Etsy links that Galaxia provided. Here's one for Deep Astronomy Hangout favorites, which I really liked. There's lots of cool stuff in here. Look at this. There's this Apollo 11 moon landing timeline thing, tapestry. NASA made a bunch of. Let me just click on this. NASA made a bunch of sort of vintage sci-fi looking plants or prints that you can download for free, actually. And somebody here has printed them out. This is one of the ones. They're like travel posters for different parts of the solar system. NASA did that a couple of years ago. Made those. Are really cool. I love these. I love these hand painted shoes here. These are really cool. I mean, with galaxies on them, and they look like great shoes, actually. But I like these a lot too. And so here's some that Galaxia has put together for Deep Astronomy. Some of her favorites in here. So this is really good. And if you go, let's see. I'm trying to follow what she said. Go to. Fashion and fabric. That's not up here. So anyway, I'm trying to go to those Galaxia, but I can't follow along that well. Let's go to here's some. If you're into tattoos, this is cool too. I love this one. John, you can do that when you wear your outfit. You could get this tattoo here. That's pretty cool. And all these scarves and the jewelry. The solar system necklace is really cool too. I love that. And so yeah, these are really neat. I mean, a lot of Galaxia has really gone through a lot of trouble here. I love this space shuttle necklace. That's really neat. And these solar system ones down here. So these are really, really cool gifts. There's also a carbon atom necklace, rockets of the world print. Lots of cool stuff here.
Can you share your screen, Tony?
Huh? Oh, shoot. I'm not even sharing my screen. Sorry. Oh, man. There we go. Get rid of all that. Oh, here we go. So, there's the tattoos right there. You see those, John? Yeah, I'm pointing you out here because you could get this. Look at that whole solar system on your arm. And you could get that while you're wearing that outfit. That would be great. But I love this. Look at this. The solar system necklace here. Again? Huh?
Can you do those tattoos? Can you pull them off again?
Well, they say they're temporary. They just probably wear off. They're probably one of those henna tattoos my daughter likes to get. But here's the space posters I was telling you about. I was talking about before. NASA made a bunch of like travel, vintage sci-fi kind of travel looking travel posters, and you could download them for free on NASA's site. You just if you go to nasa.gov and you search on posters or travel posters, you'll see the ones they've got. Here's one to Venus. They've got one for Europa, Mars, all kinds of things. Here's one for Jupiter that they had done. So there's lots of really cool wall prints that NASA has come up with. They've also come up with some cool Mars posters to like promote going to Mars. So I thought those were neat. But here's that Apollo 11 one that I think it's a tapestry or a linen. I like this a lot. I wouldn't mind one of those. That's nice. Oh, it's a towel. It's a towel. So that's really cool. And that'd be great for the beach. I'm going to have to get one of those.
Can you find some bedding?
Bedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some stellar bedding.
All right. Let's see what I can find. Let's see.
I was also going to say that as well as the solar system posters, NASA did some Kepler mission exoplanet ones. What it might be like to stand on the surface of an extrasolar world.
Oh yeah, I just want to point out this is neat. This looks like a Hubble print right here, where people have printed it out as a mural. That looks really cool.
So you can see that.
Yeah, I'm exploring. So I'm exploring this Etsy stuff that Galaxia had sent, and there was one with bedding. I just don't know where it is now. Let me try this.
Astronomy.space.
Yeah, astronomy. Yeah, IE.space, which is really cool. It's going to take me some to look through. Let me see if I can just do a search in here. I don't know. Betting astronomy. Betting. Oh yeah, here we go. Oh, look at this constellation pillows, and here's a duvet cover here. That looks pretty good. God, there's some cool stuff in them. It's a good thing I don't do this often, or else I wouldn't have any money. I like this.
It's a good range.
Yeah, there is. I like this a lot for $26. These constellation pillowcases. Those are cool. These are really neat. Oh, I love.
Do they have some Spock ears too?
I'm sure they do. Oh, these are really cool. Oh, this is the one I'd get. Here's my duvet cover, folks. Look at that. Now that is cool. Let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah, that's cool. That's the one I would get right there. I like that. Okay, one more thing I want to point out before we get too much further. Many of you have noticed that I have one of these armillary spheres in the back of my office here. It's usually behind me. Alberto gave me that back when I was in the Institute, and a lot of people ask me how they can get them themselves, and Galaxia sent this link here for this one. Now, this isn't the same exact one I have, but it's pretty cool. It's got most of the features mine have. What they are is a desktop model of the universe, and it includes major stars and constellations, and it outlines. This is the moon as it goes around the. Oh no, that's an adjustable sun. That's the sun as its path across the sky. But obviously the sun doesn't move around the Earth, but it does show the path of the sun across the sky. Some of them have moons on them. This one doesn't have one. But these are, this one's a really good price. I mean, that's mine. I estimate mine's closer to $400, but this one is about 150, 135 or so. So that's really good. And this was the one apparently that was on the Big Bang Theory. So if you watch that show, then you can see this is what they had. So a lot of people asked me about this. So I'm glad Galaxia included it with her links, because a lot of they're pretty cool. So that's how you can get one of those, and the link to that is also down below. So let me get rid of some of this stuff. All right, so let me go. Is there any questions? Let me look. Betting in it's in astronomy.space. Okay, so I'm sure. Let me go back. I'm clicking, and you're watching me click on things. Here we go. And let me just go down. Here we go. Yeah, here's one that she showed. Here's one she showed here. This one is really cool. So that one's pretty neat too. Are you looking for some duvet covers there, Adam?
Yeah, I like that.
That one is nice, isn't it?
I like that scarf that you showed right at the beginning as well. I'd wear that.
Let me find it again. I know that was here. It is, this thing. Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of buying one of these for my wife. This is really cool.
That one, I would wear that.
That is so neat. I love how it looks. Here's on the left is what it looks like in the daylight, and on the right is when you're in the dark. That is really neat. I love the constellations. Yeah, I'd wear that too. And here's a close-up of it. So apparently there's blue LEDs or something behind some fabric that lights up some of the constellations. There's Orion right there. So that's cool. All right, folks. So that is some ideas for your Christmas shopping if you want to buy your loved one.
Or yourself.
Or yourself. But come on, this is the time of giving, John. We give to others here. If you would like to try and buy something for someone else. Now, someone's sharing their screen again. Oh, there we go. What do you got there? Is this Alex? Alex, is that you?
Some gloves, some very useful gloves.
Oh, gloves! Yes, there's also gloves that Galaxia put in there. Let me get rid of this. So what are these gloves that you're showing us?
They are half-fingered, so you can handle maybe a scope at night, and if it's too cold, you can cover them.
Oh, I see. They look like mittens, but when you need to use something, do something like turn a focusing knob or something, you can pull them off, and your fingers are able to do that. And get really frozen, and then you cover them back up again.
I have these too. They're very useful. You have
a pair of those? Okay, so
yes,
those,
I have them.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah, gloves are good. Here in Florida, I don't worry about it so much, but yeah, I used to have to. The one thing about observing at night, folks, that is especially in the wintertime, a lot of things are going on. There's the best observing you're ever going to get throughout the year in the winter months because, first of all, in the northern hemisphere, the nights are longer, but they're colder, and that means the air is steadier. Have you ever gone out on a January evening and it's crisp and cold? It's so cold that when you breathe in, you just feel the cold in your lungs, and it's very dry. There's not a lot of moisture in the air because it has condensed out of the atmosphere, and even the stars have a hard time twinkling because the air is so steady on a January night. The thing is, it's cold, and you're standing there by a telescope looking down into an eyepiece or at a imaging camera readout. You're not really moving around a lot. Your blood's not circulating, and so your feet start to get cold. Your hands start to go numb. Your head is freezing. Your ears are starting to become brittle. Clothing, you can never overdress on an evening night when you're trying to observe. Even on, when it's only about 40 degrees, or I guess that's, what is that? That's about 10 or so degrees Celsius. Even then, it is wise to bundle up. You get cold because your blood's not moving around and things like that. So hats are a must. You got to have something on your head. Most of the heat in your body goes out through your head. So you want to keep that in. You want to keep your hands and feet covered. As many socks as you care to wear, put them on because you won't regret it. And things like these hand warmers and the gloves that Alex showed are pretty vital stuff.
Yeah. Especially gloves are very, very important because if you handle, for example, a metal tripod, if it's very cold, you can stick on it with your hands and you can't get off anymore.
Has that happened to you? I've heard of that, but I've never had it.
To a good friend of mine, it happened. Yes, and it's not funny.
Yeah, well, that's
like it's like you burned your fingers after that.
Yep, and I've handled cold metal only to have my fingers get cold, but I've never had them actually stick to something. So yeah, you definitely. Yeah. So sometimes what people will do is they'll wear light gloves over thinner gloves with fingers in them, so that when they take the mittens off and they work whatever it is, the knob or the eyepiece or changing out the eyepiece, whatever it is, they're not doing what happened to Alexander's friend, and that they're remaining reasonably warm. So 2 pair of gloves if you can't get the kind that Alex showed. So that's good advice. Anything else, guys, you want to point out before we go?
We had a good suggestion in the YouTube chat.
What's that?
From Paul Guerin. He's saying space beer that's brewed from yeast that's been to space. You can now buy from a company called Bostock Beer.
Get out.
No.
Really?
Yeah, Google it. Bostock Beer.
So the yeast must have gone, up to the International Space Station or something? Or
I'm not sure whether it's actually been to the International Space Station or it's been to the edge of space inside a Russian jet or something. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to do some research.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Wow, I'd like to try some of that. I wonder what effect it has on the flavor of the beer.
Supposedly it improves it, but I haven't tasted it.
Yeah. Well, I think the job of yeast is to turn the sugars into alcohol, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So I wonder if that does a better or worse job at doing that. And the hops obviously give it a lot of flavor, or the varying degrees of hops give beer flavor too, but this isn't part of that. So I'm curious. I did not know that.
Bostock.
Is it expensive?
Space beer. No. BostockSpaceBeer.com.
BostockSpaceBeer.com. I gotta go check that out. Vostok space beer. The world's first space beer. Here we go. Yeah, here we are, folks. World's first space beer. I like this guy flying up. Woo! About the beer, where to buy. Okay, let's go. This is currently available throughout Australia and key independent retailers. If you have trouble tracking it down, you can email them. If you own and manage anywhere local in Australia, lucky you. Find the nearest Vostok representative here. Okay. Wow, so it's Australian. Interesting. I'm learning a new thing here. Humanity loves beer. We have always will. It is the golden age of beer, actually. I'm going to say that about everything now. What happens when you drink beer in space? Gases and liquids don't mix. Don't like to separate. Okay. Well, anyway, I will learn more about this. But thank you, Adam. That's pretty cool. So, yeah. Another idea for getting, if you can get them anyway, if you're in Australia, that's a good gift. So, all right. Well, I guess we are. Oh my God, what's the legal limit for operating the ISS? Yeah, I bet it's a lot lower than driving a car. Better be. All right, folks. Anything you guys want to add? That we are basically out of time. So, you guys want to add anything before we head out?
Happy Thanksgiving, Tony.
Well, thank you, and I'm very thankful. And as we were talking about before the hangout started, this is also a day of mourning for the Native Americans in our country. So I want to express, I don't know what to think about this anymore. But I'm glad that more light is being shed on this idea that what the Americans did to the Native Americans. We call them settlers and pilgrims, but they look at it as invaders, and so it's a day of mourning for them. So it's a bittersweet holiday. I use it to be thankful for what I have, to just sort of be grateful for the way my life has turned out, the wonderful things I've got a chance to do. So that's what I use it for. And I get to do this. I get to be on Hangouts. I get to teach astronomy. I get to hang out with guys on the other side of the planet where we're all learning and doing things with the night sky. And what is better than that? So I'm very thankful for you guys as well. So thank you guys for helping me out on this Hangout. And I want to thank you also, Galaxia. If you missed the beginning of the Hangout, I will contact you about maybe helping you with your website if nobody comes up. If you want to help Galaxia, she needs some website help, please give her a shout out or give me a shout out, and I will put you in contact with her in direct or through me, and then maybe if she agrees, the two of you can talk. So if you want to help, let me know, and then I will reach out to her. Okay, guys, thank you, Galaxia, for all the work you did. These are awesome things. Check out these links. Don't go anywhere else. If you're going to buy astronomy gifts, go to these links. They're not affiliate links. We're not making a dime off of them. I'm not getting any money out of this. These guys aren't getting any money out of it. They just did it because they wanted to share. So go and look and feel free to buy astronomy gifts. I'm looking hard at some of these myself for family members. So anyway, that's it for this week, guys. I am not doing a hangout tomorrow because of Thanksgiving, but I will be back the following Thursday, which I think is the first Thursday of the month, in which case we will be doing a Footsteps to Mars hangout with Harley and others. So look forward to that. Next Wednesday, oh, wait a minute. I will also be next week in Mountain View, California at the SETI Institute, where we will be doing the Planets Foundation is having a workshop. I will be live streaming some of it from there, but I'll also be doing the hangout next week from there, as well as maybe the Wednesday Planets Foundation hangout, the ExoLife hangout, we'll probably do from there as well. So next week, it'll all be from Mountain View, California, where I'll be with the SETI Institute. Okay, happy Thanksgiving for you Americans out there. Thank you guys. I don't know, I guess tomorrow you guys should at least hoist a beer in favor of American Thanksgiving. Okay, there you go. Hoist a beer for us, and I'll see you guys next time. I guess we'll be back in. You're already doing it. I don't have to tell John. He's like, oh, man, okay. Awesome, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks where we don't know what we're going to be talking about. Probably more telescopes. I think we're going to start getting into imaging a little bit. Talk about some of the things for imaging that you may need to know. So check them out. I'll talk with these guys, and we'll see what we're going to come up with. Okay. Thank you all so much for watching. And as always, keep looking up.